All right, so with the Nmra race coming up, I'm gonna do some maintenance on the car today. We're gonna just basically put a set of plugs in it, change the oil. I have to put a new set of belts in the driver's side harness. I'm gonna get the car up on ride height stands. A couple things I wanna do. I wanna check front end stagger, which I'll talk to you about what that is. And then nut and bolt the car, just normal maintenance stuff, nothing too crazy. If time allows, I wanna wire the fuel level gauge, because if you watched my last video, I ran out of gas at the track and try to avoid that. And then I need to work on something for the gear selection switch to the ECU. So yeah, check it out. We'll work through that stuff, and I'm curious to see what the plugs look like. I haven't changed plugs in this thing in about a year, and I haven't changed the oil in about a year either, so I'm a little behind on my maintenance stuff. So we're gonna go through, do that first off, and move on. All right, so a couple things you guys might be interested in. So I had these Brisk, these are the RR12S's in it. I actually put the NGK Iridium, I can't remember the part number. It's a stock number 6510. It's basically a one heat range colder than stock. I put those plugs in it. I usually put these Brisk plugs in it when we're trying to make a bunch of power, just because it's a colder plug. Sorry, I know this thing doesn't focus real well. But we moved to the NGKs. That said, just taking a look at these, obviously these have like almost a season's worth of runtime on them. So you can't really learn a ton from them, aside from like looking down at the porcelain. And again, this thing doesn't do this very well. And looking for any signs of detonation, which I've done. They all look good, they all look clean, which is expected because I leave the tune-up so conservative in this thing all the time. Yeah, so the NGK plugs are in it. We're gonna get this thing up on the ride height stands and get the oil changed quick, see if, make sure there's no material in anything. Again, I haven't changed the oil in this thing in a long time, so that meaning that when we went that 859 and broke the stock engine record, that was still on like 9-month-old oil. You know, I had like 30 passes on it probably, and I haven't changed it since. So be curious to see if there's any material in there. I'm assuming there's not, because if it would have started eating itself, it'd be in pieces already. But you know, it's always good to just confirm that stuff. So that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, so got the oil out of it, got the filter sitting here. One of the things I like to do is when I'm looking for material, I'm just gonna drain the oil out of the filter over a clean white piece of paper into my drain pan here, which, you know, because I didn't drain the drain pan. So we're gonna just dribble this on here, let it run down, and anything that's left over and, you know, any kind of metallic stuff in there usually settle on the paper. You can tell that two things. There's really nothing in the oil. It looks pretty good. And yeah, check it out. It's perfect. Nothing in it. So that means I didn't turn it up enough. No, just kidding. But yeah, so I'm gonna get putting the new oil in it. Oh, everybody on Facebook and stuff, Facebook groups and whatever, everybody's always asking, what kind of oil do you use? What kind of oil should I use? I'm a big fan of, well, kind of do your own research, but we run Schaeffer's stuff. So in this car, we run this is just Schaeffer's, there's 7000 2050 oil, and I put a bottle of RevX oil additive in it. Yeah, the oil additive thing's kind of a snake oil, a lot of people think. We did some testing on the dyno, gosh, 3 years or so ago with it was a spec iron, I think was the class it was called for a road race car. And it's like a sealed engine. Like the only thing you can do is modify the programming and like an air filter. And I spent all day tuning this thing, and then we put a bottle of RevX in it, and you have to like work the RevX into the combination. Basically, you have to like do 3 hits, let it sit, let the car cool down to room temp, do 3 more. I repeat that like 3 or 4 times. Anyway, long story short, the 3-valve sealed engine thing, I was able to make like 8 or 9 horsepower from the programming. The RevX was worth 12. So that kind of made me a believer, and I've just been putting it into my personal stuff ever since. So yeah, anyway, for whatever that's worth, for you guys asking what oil to run, that's what I do in the fastest Gen 1 Coyote in the world. So, well, the fastest stock Gen 1 Coyote in the world, whatever you want to call it. The blue car behind me. Anyway, yep, so for you guys that are wondering, that's what I do. Real quick, so how I had the burnout thing set up, or I'm sorry, not the burnout thing. I was having issues with the car thinking it was in 2nd or even 3rd gear when I go to stage after doing the burnout, even though I didn't have the shift commanded unless it was like above X throttle position. Well, what I had done, and I forgot about that I had done this, is I had a table over here set to 5500. This is a shift table to explain this a little bit. This is 1-2 shift, 2-3 shift. Here's throttle position, right? So I basically took that and I made it like this. Now my thought with doing this was if I had to pedal the car, I could basically roll out of the throttle, it would shift, I could get back in it because the gear ratio change would hopefully negate the tire spin, right? Anyway, so I forgot this was like this, and I feel when I was coming out of the burnout box, out of high gear, and I would lift off the throttle and the RPM was on its way down, it would trigger something in this area here, and that would cause it to command the shift, and thus lead to when I go to stage, the car was in 2nd or 3rd, and then it wouldn't command the shift going down track. So I'm going to try to just set this all to 7500 to combat that, and then I think that'll fix the issue. As long as that's what the problem was, that should take care of that. The other thing, not really tune related, I said in the beginning of the video I was going to check front end stagger. I did that. Basically, front end stagger is if the left front tire or the right front tire is ahead of the opposite tire. You do this to help like control your reaction time stuff and adjust the car for where you leave on the tree. It's a thing that happens. It doesn't make significant changes, but it does help. Anyway, I checked all of that, and the car was straight squared up. So I'm gonna leave that go, and yeah, I think that's about it. All right, now that the maintenance is all on the car, we're ready to go to the Nmra race. This video was really short, I get it, but yeah, keep following along. I'm gonna do a bit for the Nmra race. We're in 3 classes there. We're in True Street, Open Comp, and Bracket Open. And yeah, it's gonna be a cool video, I think. I didn't do a very good job of narrating stuff while I was at the track. Obviously, we are after the event currently as I'm talking to you. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe, follow along, look forward to that one. It's pretty cool. We did really well in the True Street class. The bracket classes aren't really my thing. We didn't do good there, but the video is cool to check out regardless. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. It'll be out here in a week or so.